Now students, now we are going to study about using global variables across Python modules. Okay. So in the previous video we have studied about global variables. Okay, we had studied how we by using global keyword we will be able to access any global variable from inside a function. Okay, if you don't use global keyword inside the function, then that particular variable will be treated as a local variable. Okay, if you use global keyword, then that variable is treated as a global variable, and that variable's value can be accessed and it will be changed inside the function also, and then that change function's value then that change variable's value will be accessible outside the function also in the main code. This we have seen in the previous example, okay, in the previous video. Now we'll see how we can use them across Python modules. So as we have as all of you know, what is a Python module? Python modules are used for grouping your data into logically into different and separate files. See, a module is a piece of Python code. You can say it is a piece of runnable Python code, which could be any class also, it could be any function also, it could be any set of variables also. So you can use Python modules for grouping your data into logical pieces of code. If you want to separate them logically into pieces of code, logically means what? Like that group of data, that group of code should be performing some specific task. Okay, depending on the task, depending on the function or the task performed, you can group or you can place a piece of code in a separate file. Okay, and then what you can do with that separate piece of file, that separate piece of code, that file which is containing the piece of code, that is termed as a module. And then that module, by using the import statement, we can import that module into our class, into our main program. Okay, just like we can import classes, we can also import modules in our Python program. Okay, and then what we can do, that Python module can be used for code reuse. See, actually what is the main purpose of using of grouping classes or grouping functions together in a module? So that we can reuse them, we can use them efficiently and easily whenever required. Okay, Python modules are used for code reuse. The main purpose is code reuse only. Okay, Python modules, by grouping certain piece of code, certain group of functions or certain group of variables in a Python module, we can just, whenever we want to use them, we can just import them and we can use them in our program. This is the main advantage of Python modules. So we will understand now how we can use global variables across Python modules. Okay, in Python we can create a single module, config.py, to hold global variables and share information across Python modules within the same program. So here config.py is an example file. Okay, so here one thing you must understand, it is just a name. Okay, it is just an example name of a Python module. Okay, so config.py is the name of a Python module, single module, where what we can do, we can use this Python module for holding global variables. So here up till now what we were doing, we were creating global variables in that file itself in which we were writing the code. Okay, but now what we can do, we understand that we can create the global variables in a separate file which is known as the config.py file, which is actually a Python module. It is a module file. Okay, now how we can do that, just see this, look at this example here, share a global. This example is for sharing global variable across Python module. First, by creating a config.py file, just simply what you just in a similar manner, just like you create your simple Python code for using a .py extension. Similarly, you will create a config.py file. Okay, nothing special to do in that. Okay, just type these two lines of code in your editor. Okay, a is equal to 0 and b is equal to empty. So these are two variables. One is a variable which is having numerical value a, and b is a string variable which is holding the string empty. Okay, so these two are the global variables which we are creating in a config.py file. It's a very simple file, just like in any other Python file. You can create this file in your editor and you can save it with the .py extension. Okay, the second step is now we will create a update.py file to change global variables. So creation was done in this config.py file. Now again we can create another file, another Python module file for updation. Okay, so this file is known as update.py file. Okay, so now again, since this config is a Python module and we are creating the global variables in this config module, so that is why before updating these values, again the same rule applies here also. We have seen that once we have created one variable, okay, if you want to update that, then we have to refer to that variable first. We have to refer to the initialization or the declaration of that variable, है ना? We can't modify, we can't update the value of any variable unless until we have defined that. This is a rule of Python, है ना? We don't have to specify any data type. We can just define any variable by assigning some value to it. But that initialization has to be done before updation occurs. So here what we are doing, in the second step, we want to update the values. So before updation of the values, first of all, what is required? That we have to access the definition of or initialization of these variables. So where is this initialization done? This initialization has been done in the config.py file. Okay, that is why what we have to do, we have to import this config.py file into our update.py file. So how we will do that? We will do this by using the import statement. Import config will do what? It will import the config module into your update.py file. Okay, after we have imported that, now we can access these two variables. Okay, now we will write config.a is equal to 10, okay, and config.b is equal to alphabet. So we have changed the values from 0 to 10, and for b we have changed from empty to alphabet. So you can notice the way in which we are accessing the files. There's all these nomenclature and these things we have studied. This syntax all of you have studied in your previous class also, because there was chapter of Python modules in your class 11 syllabus. So I hope this is clear to all of you. All of you are familiar with the syntax. We can move forward now. So the third step is for creating a main.py file. Okay, so this main.py file is the main file in which we are not going to use these global variables. Okay, we have in one config.py file we created the variables. In another file update.py, another module, we updated the values. And now what we are going to do, we are going to include these two files by using the import statement. We are importing these two files. These are modules. We are going to import these two modules into a program, and then we are going to access them and print the values. Okay, so create a main.py file to test the changes in value, whether the values have been changed or not. So first of all, import these two files and then print the values by using config.a. Using config.a, you can always refer to the values of these variables. Why we using config.a here? Because config is the file in which they were created, they were initialized. Okay, that is why we using config and the dot operator, we can access these two variables here. Okay, when we run the main.py file, the output will be 10 and alphabet, which is the updated value here. Okay, so now we can see the result of the updation has been successfully done. The updation has been done. You can see the result here. Now the module config.py stores global variables of a and b. In the update.py file, what we have done, we have imported the config.py module and modified the values of a and b. Similarly, in the main.py file, we import both config.py file and update.py module. Finally, what we have done, we have printed and tested the values of global variables, whether they are changed or not. So this is the summarization of this example. Okay, so whatever we have done, I hope it is clear to all of you. Now we'll see one more function. This is very important concept. Now using global variable in nested functions. Okay, using global variable in nested functions. So what we have done for explaining this example, we have taken two scenarios. In the first scenario, what we have done, see here, I will zoom it once. Okay, see what is here. We have defined a function foo, f-o-o. Okay, and what we have done here, within the function we have nested another function which is known as bar. So foo is the outside function. Inside this outer function, inside the outer foo function, we have declared the bar function, which is the nested function inside the foo function. Okay, and within the bar function, what we have done, in the first scenario, we have declared the global variable x. Okay, this x is the global variable here. Okay, this x has been defined in the outer function also, and then in the inner function also we are declaring it as global here in the first scenario. Okay, and then here we are updating the value of x as 25, and then inside the bar function we are printing the value of this x here, and then after the bar function is finished, then within the foo function also again we are printing the value of x. Okay, and then what we are doing, and then after the foo function is also executed, after the foo function has returned its control to the main function, you see here what is there, the last two lines of the code are the main code. See, up till this print statement, this is what, after have you seen this 14 line, this line number 14 print after calling bar, this is the last line of the function. This is last line of the function foo. Okay, here the function foo is ending. Okay, so after printing this line, what we are doing, the function will return to the main code, which is the code which is written on the code lines 16 and 17. So this 16 and 17, which is what is there, it is the main driver code here, and using this driver code or the main code here, first of all we are calling the foo function, and then after the foo function has finished executing, after that what we are doing, we are printing the value in the main. We have written in the 17th line number print x in main. So what we are doing, after the foo function has returned the execution, returned the control to the main function, then what will happen, we will again print the value of x in the main program. So we will see what is the value of x which is printed in the main program, whether it is the global value which is being printed in the bar function, or whether it is the local value. Okay, this will see in the output here. See in the output what is there. First of all, this print statement which is given on line number 11, print before calling bar, this will be executed because see what is there actually, this bar function is defined inside the foo function, but this bar function will not be executed just before this. See, we are defining this function inside the foo function, but this, like other functions, this bar function will only be executed after it is called by some function. So here what we are doing, inside the foo function we are calling the bar function in the line number 13. So this means that the whatever piece of code which is see here line 6, 7, 8, 9 are the code which is pertaining to the bar function. So this code will be executed only after we call bar in the line number 13. See in the line number 13 here we are calling the bar function inside the foo function. So then only then what will happen, this line number 7, 8 and 9 will get executed, because this 7, 8, 9 is the code which is inside the bar function. So this bar function code will be executed only after you call this function in line number 13. Unless until the function is called, this bar function will not be executed. So now what happens, first of all what line will be printed, this line number 11 is the first print statement which will be outputted. So what will be printed here, before calling bar, what is the value here, it is 20, which is the value which is here in the foo function. In the foo function what we are doing, we are creating this value, we are creating the variable x and we are initializing it the value 20. That is why what is there, before calling bar, what is the value, it is 20 here. Okay, now again the second statement is in the 12th statement what is there, we are printing the message here calling bar now. Okay, now we are going to call the bar function now. When the bar function is called, and what has happened, this x has been declared as global here. So now what will happen, this x which was previously 20, now this global variable will tell the function, will tell the interpreter that this x variable is nothing but the global variable which has been defined in the outer function. Okay, but what will happen, this global function will not have its effect inside what, in the calling function. In the calling function, it means in the foo function what happened, see this, we will see here again what will happen. See inside this bar, we are inside the bar function, what we are doing, we are printing the value of x inside the function bar. Okay, in that function bar, see what value is being printed, it is 25 here. Why it is 25, because inside the function we have modified this value. Okay, that is why here it is 25. But you can see that after calling bar, see what happens after this, the bar function will stop executing, like it, the control will again come to the foo function. So you can see here in this line number, in line number 14, print after calling bar. See here, what do you think, because x was a global variable, so its value should be updated now. Now we should be getting the value 25 here also. But you can see here what has been printed here, again 20 is being printed here. Why is 20 is being printed in the fourth statement, fourth line of output? It is because whenever we are defining global keyword inside any nested function, then what will happen, whenever we define any global keyword inside the nested function, then that global keyword will have no effect in the outer function. See here, foo is the outer function, so this global keyword will have no effect, it will have no scope in the outer function. This will be, as soon as, see, this function is called, the outer function is the foo function here, that is why this global keyword will have its effect only inside the bar function and outside of the calling scope. What is the calling scope? It is the outer function, which is foo function here, inside which it is nested. So within the foo function it will have no effect, but as soon as the control comes outside the foo function, it will again have its scope. So this x will be treated as a global variable, not inside the foo function but inside the main function, which is calling the foo function. Have you understood, students, what I am trying to tell you? So a bar function, we are declaring the x variable as global within the bar function, but the bar function here is nested inside the foo function. So we are now trying to understand the property of global variable, that whenever we are using global variable inside any nested function, it will not have its the global variable will not show its scope in the function which is the outer function. in the function which is enclosing the nested function. So here foo function is a function which is enclosing this bar function. So here global variable will not have its scope in the outer function. Okay, as soon as you come to the outer function, this x variable will lose its scope. So here this x will be treated as the local variable. Okay, the local variable means the variable which was initially declared in the x variable. Okay, and so the variable which was initially declared in the foo function. What value was it holding? Initially it was holding the 20 value. That is why when we are printing this fourth line, when we are printing this 14 line number statement, like which is print after calling bar. So this print statement is within the foo function. So here what will happen? Which value will be printed? The value which was initially initialized in the foo function, which is 20. This value will be unchanged, and this will be printed in this print statement. Okay, the value which was updated in the bar function, this value will be different from this bar statement. This foo function will be this variable, this x. You can understand that the variable x which is there in the foo function, it is totally different from the variable which is being declared global inside the bar function. Okay, don't get confused. The global variable which is declared inside the bar function is totally different from the variable which is declared in the foo function. Why? Because whenever we use global keyword inside any nested function, then outside that nested function, the global keyword will lose its scope. Okay, the global keyword will have its scope in the main function, but not in the outer function which is enclosing the nested function. So here in the main function, again, what x we will be getting? We will again be able to access the function. We will again be able to access the variable which is inside the bar function. So here bar function is having which x value? It is 25 here. This global variable, this global x which is declared inside the bar function, where we can access that? We can access that not in the foo function but in the main function. Okay, which is calling the foo function. So in line number 17, what we see in the line number 17, we are, after the foo function has finished executing, after that we are in the last line of a program, we are now going to print the value of x, which is actually the value of the global variable, because the global variable which is declared in the bar function will be accessible in the main function but not in the foo function. Okay, because that foo function is enclosing the bar function. Okay, I hope it is clear to all of you. So you can see in the main function, again we will be able to print the global variable x value, which is 25. Okay, so these two variables are totally different. Don't get confused. The x variable which is inside the foo function is a local variable of the foo function. This variable x is a local variable of the foo function. Okay, this is not a global variable. Okay, don't get confused. This x is 20 is a local variable of the foo function. We are declaring it as global variable, but inside the bar function here. So what happens? Because this bar function is a nested function, that is why what will happen? This function outside the bar function, this global variable will not be existing. This global variable will not be accessible. But as soon as we move on to the main function, this global variable will again be accessible. So what value of x we will be able to access in the main function? It will be the value of the global variable. That is why in main function we will print the value as 25. So there is one more scenario, the second scenario, where we are, see, in the next scenario we are going to remove this. Okay, just a minute. Okay, now see, in this scenario, the second scenario, we are now going to remove the global keyword. Okay, so in the next video we will continue with the second scenario. In the second scenario, what we are going to do, we are going to remove the global keyword from this bar function. Then we will see what change we observe in the output. But this will be discussed in the next video. Okay, so till then, goodbye. In the next video we will discuss the next scenario. Okay, thank you.